What is up, guys, and welcome to another video on the Whovian Alliance. And today I'm going to be doing worst to first on the Doctor Who Series 1. So I will be going through all of the Doctor Who Series 1 episodes and yeah, just ranking them. In my opinion, it's going to be different to yours, so comment down below what your least favourite and your favourite Doctor Who Series 1 episode. So yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm not going to dwell on too much on the episodes. I'll just show you my ranking. So in last place for me, it's Boomtown. I feel like this episode's very filler, and if I can't remember too much about an episode, it means I don't really like it. I think there's a couple of scenes that I can remember from this episode, and one of them is the calf scene. Apart from that, this really doesn't have any, doesn't have anything for me. It's quite boring in places. And yeah, that's why it's so low down. But if you guys do like this episode, I'm sorry, but for me, it's not the best. In second to last place, it's the second episode of the series, The End of the World. This series on rewatch wasn't that great. The effects weren't brilliant on this episode. But obviously in its time it would have been quite good. I think the introduction of Cassandra was quite cool, but she could be annoying. And the face of Bo really had nothing to do with this episode. I don't know why he's there really. Yeah, the spider droids as well don't really do anything for me in this episode. Yeah, apart from that, this is quite another, again, like a filler episode after the first episode. This one is just not brilliant. So this next episode, again, are filler episodes. I'm putting filler episodes down the bottom. It's the long game. Yeah, again, the Jaguar is such a forgettable character villain, and you also have Simon Pegg's character. I believe he's called the Editor, another villain that is just so forgettable. The episode itself has quite a good structure. They go into the well, the future, and yeah, it's just a bit boring in places. You have Adam as well, who's a bit annoying in this episode. So yeah, you just get to see humans react with aliens and how far humanity has come. But apart from that, it's quite a boring episode, and that's why it's this low down. Next up on the list, now I'm getting to episodes that I do like. I don't think they're bad episodes. I don't think they're brilliant episodes. And that is the Unquiet Dead. I think the effects on this really bring this episode down. I just really don't like the kind of gas effect on this episode. I think it looks really cheap and naff. For the time though, it might have been amazing. Also, I'm just not a fan of the kind of plot with the dead coming up again. It's kind of basic. The only thing I do like about that episode is the woman you're seeing in the middle. She's fantastic in this episode, and her acting in this episode is fantastic. We get to see Dickens as well in this, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's an alright episode. It's not bad, but it's not good. Next on the list is Rose, which is the Series 1 opener. So this was a massive episode when it aired, as this was the Doctor Who coming back onto the screens. The villains in this episode are the classic Autons that have been redesigned quite nicely, actually. I prefer this design. Yeah, overall the story is pretty decent with the living plastic. And it's based in London, which is pretty cool. We get the introduction of Rose and the brand new Doctor, and some of their chatter is quite cool to watch. However, again, the effects in this episode, and I feel like the camera quality is just horrible. When I was watching this, even on Blu-ray, it looks terrible. But the plot of the story is fine. It's just the look of this episode I'm not a fan of. And next is Aliens of London and World War III. A lot of people don't like this episode, and I'm not too sure why. I think the Slovene are an alright enemy. I don't get the kind of gag farting kind of thing with them. But apart from that, I feel like they're quite a menacing villain, to be honest. The pig at the start is a bit weird. I'm not too sure about that. But you get the spaceship crashing into Big Ben. I think that's a great scene. And yeah, just the Slovene scenes in general are really fun to watch. Seeing them crawling towards their enemy or whatever, victim, should I say. And yeah, it's just a really fun episode. I really like the zip kind of thing where they transform. I used to do that as a kid a lot. So yeah, this It's quite a classic episode for me, and I really do like it. And next on the list is a episode that people really rate this really high. I rate it highly, but not as high as many people would like. It's The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. So this is the Are You My Mummy episode. It's an alright episode. It can be boring in places for me. I'm not quite a historic person, so I don't like going back into history some of the time. But this episode works for me. It's quite scary, especially when you were young. This was very scary. And yeah, I love the ending as well with the Doctor dances. You have the kind of yellow sparkling effects. The effects on this though are brilliant. I think the World War aspect to it is fantastic, and we get the introduction of Jack Harkness, which is pretty cool. And next on the list is, I don't know if people like this. It's quite I think people brush this episode over. It's Father's Day. I really do like this episode. I love the concept of going back in time to see Rose's dad. The villain in it is pretty scary. It even kills the Doctor at one point. This is just a well-rounded episode. Yeah, I just really like the plot of it, going back into time. I like the little flashbacks we get as well. Yeah, I just really love this episode and Rose emotion in it as well. So yeah, that's why it's this high up. So in second place now, guys, we do have Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways. This is the massive finale at the end. In Bad Wolf, we get the game shows where the Doctor's in Big Brother, and I believe I can't remember what Rose was in. I think it's Weakest Link she was in, yeah. And you had the kind of robot Anne, which is quite funny. We also get Jack in this episode as well, which is pretty nice. And in the Parting of Ways, we get the massive Emperor Dalek, which is just fantastic to see. Really lovely effects in this episode. And when you have a Dalek in the episode, it's gonna be pretty cool. This was the first time we saw like a huge Dalek for a very long time, and all of the kind of Daleks put together as well in this kind of little army was the first time we saw this since the revival. So yeah, this was a really cool episode back in the day, and I still think it holds up now. But it's not as good as the first place. And first place, if you guys can guess right, it is Dalek. Yeah, guys, there is nothing wrong with this episode. I can't think of a single thing wrong. I love the design of the Dalek in this episode, the bronze kind of battered design. I love it. Literally, probably the Ninth Doctor's best scene is in this room that you can see right now. It's where he's facing off against the Dalek. I just absolutely love this episode. I love the Doctor. I love the villain. I love Rose in this episode because she kind of has a relationship with the Dalek. We also pick up, unfortunately, Adam, but yeah. Overall, this Dalek episode is fantastic. It's number one for me. You guys aren't changing my mind, but comment down below what your favourite is in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for watching this Worst First on Doctor Who Series 1. I'll be doing Series 2 coming up next. I hope you guys did enjoy. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.